welcome to the Chelmsford Report. We are your guides through today's news. I'm Lucy Franklin.
And I'm Brianna Cairns, and we have so many interesting stories prepared for you today. So I think it's time that we should get started.
First up, field hockey and the ups and downs that it contains. Coach Sheila and other team members tell us how their 2023 season went, as well as their thoughts on their performances.
JV field hockey team, it was many people's first time playing for CHS. The games were tough, but the season was successful. Here's Coach Sheila on how she thought the season went.
I think the JV season went very well. We were successful, we bonded as a team. Of course, with every team you have your wins and losses and ups and downs, but in the long run, I think we have more ups than downs.
It was pretty fun, I think. We win a lot of games and we learn a lot since I'm new to field hockey.
Skill growth, definitely from when I first saw them in August and when we ended in the end of October. Skills in terms of dribbling, carrying the ball down the sidelines, and also working together on their passing skills and being effective on the field, especially midfield.
All the teammates are very kind.
It's such an easy team to be with because they're learning and they're growing and they know that they're building on their skill and they're excited to be there, which makes it really a great team to coach.
I feel like the team is more united, and last game was it each game we putting out effort, so they're all pretty good.
I would say it was against probably the Andover or North Andover. I forget which one it was, but it was definitely on our territory at the stadium. It was at our stadium, and it just seemed like everything clicked for that game. Our passing was right on the money. Our goals were going in. That was the game that we just seemed. It was difficult, not to say it wasn't a difficult game, but the game went back and forth, and I think at the very end we came through with the winning goal, and I think that was probably our most exciting and most successful game. Most difficult game was against Central Catholic on their field in the rain and the cold. They just dominated every part of their own field like they knew it, and for some reason I feel they just dominated in skill and we became intimidated, and I think it was a hard game.
It was our last game, right? It was the ref wasn't good. It's biased, so yeah, that was the most difficult one.
Yes, I think your team really bonded. You grew to respect each other for your abilities on the field and for your personalities off field, and I think you really liked each other.
That is a goal. All in all, a pretty successful season, if I do say so myself.
Now let's dive into the next story, telling us about the swim season.
The CHS boys swim team led by Coach Vitale had a very successful season by winning MVCs. Sophomore swimmer Anthony Bongiorno and Coach Vitale explained how they persevered through the season and kept on pushing at every meet.
I don't know. That mid-season meet over winter break is always a tough one for us. I don't know if necessarily it's a low, but it's just a hard one to overcome. A number of guys being out due to family vacations, and we had a handful of illnesses at the time as well, so that was definitely a tough one. We were able to split in our tri-meet that day, which was good, but Reading gave us a fight. So the biggest thing moving forward, we're going to be in a pretty big rebuild for the next year and a half, 2 years. I think the biggest thing is making sure we have as much time out in the water out of the season as we possibly can. I think just generally speaking, everyone can really kind of benefit from that, whether that be over the summer or in the fall. It will be very crucial for us moving forward. Just something I always aspired to be quite honest. I swam in high school, started swimming at middle school. I wasn't very good, and then just kind of worked hard and got through it. Went through 4 years of college and came back and volunteered my first year teaching here, and ever since I've been part of the program. Usually it's Andover, to be quite honest. They were a little down this year, unfortunately, but anytime you were able to beat perennial power like Andover in league, it's always one of our better meets, I would say. We definitely had some tough ones out there, but I'd say Andover. Definitely ups and downs, I would say. anytime we win the conference championship at the end, it's a successful season. We could go 0-4 and not win any dual meets, but if you win the conference championship, that's a successful season in my book.
Well, most of the time I was just doing freestyle because that was the stroke I was best at, and given that I'm a distance swimmer, it's really the only stroke that distance swimmers do. Most of the time, like, homeworks and stuff weren't really that bad. Mostly the problem was, trying to keep up with, I have this project I have to finish, I have to work on after school, I have to remember to do that after, getting home from swim, doing everything else. It gets tiring. We're an energetic group. We're very vibrant, crazy. It's a real joy to be around. At least 3 years now. It's great exercise. The team's great to be around. It's real fun, real tiring, and if I was gonna quit, I would have done it already. Would have to be trying to mix swimming with other work from either school or if you have a job. Just trying to make sure I can balance it out, not failing in one or the other. Or things are gonna go really wrong. Either we win or we don't. And hey, would you look at that, we won. It was probably, for at least the 2 years I've been doing it, the most successful we had. No, we changed from 2 hours to 1:30, and I think that works better because now it gives us more time to actually get other work done. I don't know what the best meet would have been. I just don't have an answer to that question.
CHS really made a splash in the MVCs last season.
Speaking of the swim team, Coach Vitale returns along with Grant Magnet to clue everyone in on what to expect of the next season of swim.
The CHS boys swim and dive team has proven themselves fruitful by winning NVC championships. With the next season coming along, let's see what the coach thinks about some challenges they will have to face.
I think the biggest challenge is that we're losing some pretty talented seniors. So the last 3 years, really, we've lost a lot of talent, and it's now on the shoulders of the younger guys to step up and do some work in the offseason to really get better.
I think the most devastating loss is just like losing the team. It's kind of devastating because you kind of like see them as like your brothers in arms, and it's kind of sad just leaving them behind.
I mean, any of the four of the captains, I think equally, are big losses, obviously. Kyle was huge. I know he didn't swim, but he was awesome as a team manager. Really, when you lose guys like that, it's hard to replace. I think any of the four captains and Kyle are tough losses for us.
Challenges for next season, I think, will just be getting everyone that we have on the team just together again, and I think that won't be a huge challenge, but I think that'll be a lot of fun to do.
Expectation versus hope. Expectation is to just continue to improve and come together as a team. I think the hope is that to try to win that MVC title again at the end of the season. Learning about this year having an hour and a half practice versus 2 hours. We definitely, we've learned a lot. What needs to be done, what can't, where we need to work on. That fourth race for a lot of people was a struggle this year, so that's gonna be something I'll be looking at for next year.
For me, I've been swimming my entire life. It's mainly my main sport, and I just have really enjoyed it throughout my entire life. I want my times to, for my 100 free specifically, I really want it to drop to like 56 at least. And I can really do that by just having my friends push me. So.
Well, I think the best advice I can say to them is, get to know the guys early. We're a friendly bunch of group of guys, and get ready to work hard. We have fun, but we work hard.
That was Coach Vitale and Grant Magnet on their thoughts of what will happen next season of swim.
Very clever. Switching topics from swim over to hockey, members of the girls' hockey share with us how their season went.
For the first time in Billerica Chelmsford girls hockey history, they made it to Final Four. What was their goal from the beginning? Here explaining how the team is battle-tested is Captain Tori Apostolakis.
Well, we really knew what it was like to battle back. Our coach kept saying we were battle-tested. A lot of the games were pretty close by 1 or 2 goals, so we knew how to stay right in it.
We weren't used to going super far into these games, and so as we went farther and farther into playoffs, I think we got tired mentally and physically.
Like I said before, I like the mentality thing, just making sure that didn't get in people's heads, because overall we knew what we were like as a team. So probably letting the score get to us, especially in Winthrop. We went down, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't know," but then we came back, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, when we got to playoffs, we had a couple of our players dress up as the opposing team and learn their D zone, and it helped us a lot going into those games. We had a lot of team dinners, which were nice, and we played games after the team dinners. And we had the Punxsutawney Phil games, which ended badly, but it was fun while it lasted.
Obviously, a lot of teenage girls, there was a little bit of drama, but we managed to work through it, and we became closer because of it.
I was scared the team was going to lack confidence and let our seed get to our head, but it didn't. So, yep. We had a few strong practices right before playoffs, and it helped build confidence within the team. We worked together a lot more. We had a lot of positivity on the bench, and we helped protect the in front of the net a lot.
Definitely ranking. We know that coming in as the 13th seed, we'd be going up against a lot of 4 or 5 seed teams like Haverhill and Winthrop. So just making sure that really didn't affect the girls' mentality going into games.
We had a lot tougher of a schedule, like playing St. Mary's, and I think that got us prepared for playoffs.
Honestly, after that 5 games, it was pretty tough, but we had a few game buffer before we got into playoffs, so we kind of bounced back a little bit, and we knew we had to start picking it up and working harder. So at the beginning of the year, we were like, oh, let's go to the Garden and make it to the championship. As we started getting going in the season, we kind of thought about it a little more, and maybe that wasn't reality. So we ended up making it to the Final Four, and I mean, we almost achieved our goal. So let's do that.
The hockey team has done very well this season, and I think they deserve a round of applause. Now let's hand it off to Anthony with the traffic.
Hello, my name's Anthony. And welcome to Traffic. As you can see from the roads, everything's going pretty well. Except for Lowell. Lowell's having a little mishap over there, but they'll work it out eventually. Now, let's move on to our neck of the neighborhood. Look at some roads. As you can see, roads are pretty clear. Not many cars, no accidents, everything's working out well. And hopefully, it'll work out later when we leave. Anyway, that should be all for Traffic. Hope you have a good day, and let's get back to the news.
Thank you, Anthony. It's time to serve up our next story, and it's all about the goals of the volleyball team. Setter David Pham and varsity libero Jaden Som are here to tell us all about it.
The Chelmsford High School JV boys volleyball team has just started their season with new goals. David, the setter of the JV team, explains the hardest and easiest goals to achieve for the season.
The hardest will probably be talking, because our team is like the Lowell Public Library in the games, and the easiest will probably be serving into the court, because that's probably the easiest skill to have on a volleyball team. I want to set for my teammates so we can have a successful attack and offensive strategy.
David, the JVA setter, talks about his most formidable opponent and a different position he would play.
Lowell, because it's just really short Asians that can jump high. I would probably play libero, because I think I have solid receives, and positioning.
David talks about how he gets into volleyball and his future goals with the JV team.
So, my friend Jaden, right? I was shooting a basketball, and it looked like I was trying to set the basketball into the hoop. Then he was like, "You're meant for volleyball." Then I joined his bump circle once. Then his brother, maybe come to one of the practices, and I got hooked in, and I started watching Haikyuu. And then, once you watch Haikyuu, it makes everything so much better, you know? I think we will have 3 teams, because JVB, JVA, and varsity was set at the team meeting. I'm on JVA because, yeah, and I want to make varsity next year as a sophomore. And I want to play for Mill City or this club in New Hampshire. I want a set for the team because the setter gets like the most touches in the game, and everyone will rely on you. If like you give a bad set, that like your attackers will like get pissed at you, and like the enemy will think your team is weak. I think Lowell because they have 5'4" Asians that can jump to the sky, and Bane 10-foot, which means like they can hit the ball in front of 10-foot line. Our first game is April 4th, and it's Drink It Middies.
Next, we have freshman Jaden Som, the libero from the varsity volleyball team, to discuss his preferences and goals as a volleyball player.
We have 3 teams, and I'm on varsity. Yes.
Yep.
I play for Mill City Volleyball Club. Some goals for this season are 2 pancakes for each game, 5 perfect passes each game, and clean sets. And probably low. It's my hometown, so we gotta clap them. So probably low. Our first game is drinking middies. We're gonna win. So yeah. Position in volleyball is libero because libero's underrated and you get all the balls. So yeah. Okay. I wanna improve my hitting and jump 60 inches in the air. Molten because it's grippier. Defensive because I can't eat every single pass. The Luca one.
That was some insight on the easier and more difficult goals of the volleyball team.
Keeping up with the topic of volleyball, we have Coach Taylor and Michael Slyman here to explain more details about the goals of the volleyball team.
Chelmsford High School JVB boys volleyball team has several goals for this season. Both Coach Taylor and player Michael talk about the main goals of communicating and moving their feet.
I've noticed in boys volleyball that they tend to not talk too much, and I think that, communication is huge because it's not only does it helps your team, but it also prevents injuries because these boys be crashing into each other. From what I've noticed, moving our feet for sure is the hardest because today a lot to move your feet because boys volleyball is a very fast game, so you really got to react fast. But that takes time to work on and time to learn as well.
I think the hardest team goal is obviously going to be communication and just kind of trying to connect with each other on like a more personal level. I feel like we just need to talk more because we kind of just lack communication, and also most people just don't move, like we're kind of lazy. We're not keeping up the balls as much as I'd like, but I feel like there's some opportunity. Team goals we need to improve on. Well, like I just said, it's like communication. We need to talk more, and we just need to get closer as a team.
Just moving their feet. Getting to the ball there first. Communicating. Just all the little small things that they can do to smallly improve themselves.
I definitely want to build a good relationship with my teammates, and I also hope to just score a lot.
Just to get more interest, be able to do all the basics, all the simple things, just get to know the game as what it is.
Well, obviously, since it's not like something like varsity, all the players aren't great, but that is definitely bound to change, and we will all improve eventually.
I think they do the best when it comes to, the energy together. They have such high energy, especially like today, Lionel got a really good block. The energy was great. I love that energy. I want that energy to continue on throughout the team.
Team goals are important so we can be able to play better and just feel connected and like unified as one.
Just knowing and understanding the game and having fun out there, obviously. I think honestly our team is very positive, good energy. I see it in the group chat, the very interesting energy. It's kind of funny, but it's really positive, and they all have the same goals. They want to work together. What I noticed. I think the boys are doing really well. It's really great to have another JVB team again, especially because JVB technically has been on hiatus for a little bit. So it's really great to have more interest come in. Be able to coach that and give more opportunities for.
That was Coach Taylor and Michael Sleeman telling us about the hopes and goals for the volleyball team. Hopefully that should set it up nicely.
Next up, boys lacrosse. A couple of the team members communicate how they feel about certain positions they play.
The Chelmsford High School boys lacrosse team has begun their season by trying out for different positions on the field. The players will be talking about 2 positions and how they feel about their positions and how it affects the team. Attacker Josh King will talk about how the players on the team work together to make plays.
We set picks for each other, get open, pass. We work together to create opportunities and plays, and we try to work the ball.
We work as a team by communicating like who we're defending, if our person defending has the ball, where we need to go to, and when we're clearing, who we're passing to.
It's not easy. I mean, if you put in the work and you hit the wall and pass and work on your dodges, it becomes easier.
I wouldn't say too difficult. I guess it depends on who you're playing against, and knowing when to slide, which means like when one defense gets beat, how to move up to them.
Yeah, of course. Like, you just hit the wall, pass with your friends, throw around, dodge, work on your cradling at home with a friend.
Definitely, it's my second year at playing lacrosse. Work on catching and throwing the ball, practicing against a wall, playing with friends. Just keep practicing and watching videos.
You work the ball around on offense. You gotta dodge, look to attack, create opportunities to score, set picks, take good shots. I love to play attack. It's my favorite position. I like creating opportunities, dodging, shooting, passing, creating, scoring, and other offensive opportunities.
I play long D-pole, and defense works 3 offense versus us 3 defenders and our 3 midfielders, and we just defend and try to stop them from scoring.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy moving the ball around, taking shots on net, trying to dodge and get open space.
I feel pretty good playing defense. I mean, it's fun. I don't have to get whacked by the other defense on the other team, and I get to hit other people, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I try to put in 100% of effort all the time. So you gotta constantly be ready. Your most games are gonna be won by hard work and effort.
Do I think my teammates can work harder? I don't think I can say, but they should be putting 100% effort out there, and I should be too.
I love practice. We get to work the ball around, create new plays, work on existing plays, work on dodging, shooting, passing.
Do I like my teammates? Yeah, I like all of them. Coaches tell us not to have any problems with our teammates because we're going to be stuck with them for the rest of CHS. And yeah, I like all my teammates. They're all supportive.
I like moving the ball around, getting to dodge and create offensive opportunities.
Definitely harder to control, but that long pole, there's an advantage to it. That's why you're only allowed to have 4 long poles on the field at once. And because it gives you that extra reach and also allows you to control the person better and also to catch balls out of the air easier.
I hope to play college, but if not, I'll continue playing the sport for fun because I really enjoy playing lacrosse.
That was team members Josh and Sam on the positions of lacrosse, and that was a lot of sports people. Now, whether she is ready or not, we have Allie on the weather.
Hi, thank you, Lucy. Welcome. I'm Allie Rourke, bringing to you the weather in Boston. Tonight, it seems to be rainy and cloudy with mid to high 40s. Moving on to tomorrow is mid to high 50s again, but still rainy and cloudy. As you can see that we've gone over the rough patch of rain recently, and Boston seems to be getting hit with just some light rain, but up in the top, Manchester, New Hampshire and Concord, New Hampshire seem to be getting hit harder. On to the week. Saturday looks like 50 on the dot with 50% rain. Moving on to Sunday with higher temps in the 50s, but still 100% rain and clouds. Moving on to Monday with low 60s and 100% showers. On to Tuesday with mid to high 50s and 30% rain and clouds. And then Wednesday with mid-50s and 50% rain. Back to you, Lucy.
Thank you kindly, Allie. It looks kind of dreary out there, but now we have a close-up study from our very own producer detailing the difference in preferences between lunches of previous years and the ones we have now.
Tonight, the topic is turned to the new Chelmsford High School lunch schedule for the 2022 to 2023 school year, which is not as good as last year's, according to students. We are joined by Tanush, a sophomore, who prefers the previous year's lunch schedule.
I definitely like the lunch schedule a lot better because you're with the same friends every day and you never have to worry about who you're sitting with. Also, there was like a lot more places you could sit, so it was never really a struggle finding somewhere to like eat. Yeah, I don't really like the new lunch schedule because you don't get to like see your friends as often, and you're like with different people every single lunch block, so like it's not consistent. You could like be with your friends every day. I would definitely go back to the old lunch schedule because I feel like there was this much of a crowd in lunch lines. Which just ran much more smoother. There wasn't as much pushing, and it was just a much more peaceful alternative. By the time you're out of the lunch line, it's like you'll have like 5 minutes left for lunch. You have to like finish up eating, and you don't even have time to talk to your friends. Well, with this lunch, it's like always like new groups of people, and like you have to figure out where to sit each day. It's not like the same place every day usually. Personally, I like lunch 3 because having it at the end of the class makes the day feel like shorter, not as long, as opposed to having it at lunch 1, where it would feel like super long having 2 blocks after lunch.
I would change, like, where the only locations are. We should add another one, that being outside. I love the outside. I would go back to the old lunch, but then have people watch certain areas so they can stay, like, controlled. Also, so I can talk to my friends. I know it's more convenient for the other people, you know, like the aides watching people and make sure they don't do anything, like the lunch ladies and all that. But I personally don't like it because I cannot talk to my friends and it hurts my feelings. Controlling people into like not like making a huge mess, because that was a big problem last year. I think that's the only thing it does well. I just like talking to my friends, and now it's like all messed up because there's like other lunches and I might be alone one day or I might not. It's so goofy and so. I would change it so that you can pick what lunch you have, or like vote on which class you should get which lunch. I've only experienced one lunch change, and that was the one this year, which is kind of whack and goofy, I'm not gonna lie. Like the lunch change where there was 2 of them and we could go outside. I like running around, climbing, like actually be surrounded by people I know instead of like walking around and not knowing anyone. I think they should just have lunches the beginning of last block maybe. So then it's 3 lunches, but it's not in the middle of any class.
Seems like people liked last year's lunch better, but hey, only a few more weeks left to endure this year's schedule.
Hope you still got your appetite though, because next up is another story about our very own lunches here at the high school. This time, a couple of students talking about the change in the lunch lines.
New improved lunch lines at Chelmsford High School. Are they really improved? Student Ohm speaks out on his disappointing experience in the lunch lines about not having enough time to eat.
In my professional opinion, I think the school lunch lines are too long, and I think they're too long because I waited like almost the entire lunch to get like a sandwich.
What is your name and grade?
My name is Odin Roberts and I'm a sophomore. My name is Omen Gadi. I'm a junior.
What is your opinion on the school lunch lines and why?
The school lunch lines are really long usually, and they're really hard to get through, especially with all the cutting and the pushing around. So it's really just tough how they run the school lunches.
I feel like it definitely helped a little bit because if we did have only 2 lunches, it would be more people per lunch, which would make the line longer. But I feel like there's definitely some improvements that could be made to make the lines a little bit shorter.
What did you think of last year's school lunch system? What did you like or dislike about it?
I think last year's school lunch system was much better than this year's school lunch system, partly due to the fact that it was split between 2 blocks, freshmen, sophomores, and then junior, seniors, rather than this year's lunch system, which it's all assorted throughout 3 different lunch blocks. I think last year's was better because we had longer lunch periods, so if there's a long line, which there are like 90% of the time,
you actually had time to eat your lunch and kind of unwind with your friends after the first few blocks of the school day.
Last year's school lunch I thought was better because it was a little more consistent. You know, it was like I could hang out with people of similar grades, like more consistently. My issue is I feel like it would be more people in one lunch, which would make the line longer.
Which lunch system do you prefer, this year's or last year's?
I definitely prefer last year's lunch system just because it's easier, the lines felt shorter, and the lunch blocks were longer, so I could actually get my time in to eat. This year's aren't as good due to not having lunch with the same people, so I can't relax with my friends all the time, and I don't have as much time to eat due to there being 3 different lunch blocks.
What do you think should be changed about this year's school lunch system?
Definitely the lines. The issue is it's going to be harder to streamline it from 3 lunches because if we have more lunches, there'd be less time in one lunch period.
What I would change about the school lunch system is that I would definitely put a bigger budget in for lunches, increase the quality of them, and also extend the lunch blocks, or even make it so different grades have different lunches, just like it was freshman year for us, solely because we, again, don't have lunches that are nutritious as we would like, and also the amount of time we get for lunches is subpar.
Thank you.
Very interesting study, in my opinion. And now I think it's time for a snack.
Back to the sports news, people. This next story we have for you is about the girls' spring track here at CHS. And Kate Leonard and Coach Garenti talk about what they are most excited for this season of track.
CHS track has just started up, and here to tell us about it is distance runner Kate Leonard and Coach Garenti. Up first is Kate. She's most excited about the upcoming meets. Let's see what she has to say.
For spring track, I'm most excited for the first meet, and I'm honestly just excited for all the meets, and I hope that it's as good as winter was, and I hope it's even better.
I'm excited for our meet against Billerica. I'm excited for our meet against Tewksbury, and then the Haverhill Invite.
So I started I've always kind of been running with my dad and alone during the summer and in between soccer and stuff and gymnastics, but and I tried cross country in middle school and did a tiny bit of track in middle school, but I really only started track in in this past winter season, and then now spring.
6th grade, and gone every season since then. Indoors, outdoors, through college, and then when I'm out of college, the coaching indoors and outdoors.
Running in the mile, I want to try the 2-mile for spring, and in the winter I did the 1,000, and I tried the 600 once.
I did a little of everything. I was mainly distance with the mile, 800, 2-mile, but I did triple jump, high jump as well. But then I got really good at high jump, so I kind of focused on high jump more so my junior, senior year, and then in college I did just the high jump. The energy of a track meet, a 4x4 with your teammates along the inside cheering you on, competition in practice, positive, good jobs at practice. The teammates are what make track what it is.
Definitely, I really like teammates who are supportive, and I really liked how in the winter all the older kids and seniors and stuff, they're all really supportive and fun and made practices really fun, and so yeah.
Oh, high jump. I like high jump because people gravitate towards it. It's an event to watch. Not a lot of people can do it, so it's a fun event to watch. It's exciting. And my favorite part is that feeling when you go over the bar where even you clear a bar and on your way down, you know you cleared it and you know it was a good jump, and it's that feeling in your stomach I'll never forget. I feel it now, so that's the best part for sure.
Things pretty figured out, and I hope things keep running smoothly for them.
Now don't go running away on us yet. We have more track news for you guys.
CHS Girls Spring Track goals are to be the fastest you can be and to keep improving. Coach Garenti and track member Brianna Cairns explained how they set goals and strive to achieve them.
When I set goals, I go reachable. They need to be smart and realistic, measurable, and have a time aspect to it. I base it off of what I've done before and just kind of inch up a little bit on that. And then I'm honest with myself. If I don't achieve a goal, it's not the end of the world as long as I put all my energy and efforts towards it.
My motto is just like, don't give up now, and just try to like beat the person I guess next to you so that you can at least do something, but also just have fun.
I hope the team will achieve improvement. I hope we go undefeated in the MBC, big meet against Billerica leading off, and I hope the kids learn to battle and push themselves more than just racing the clock. I think we need to learn to battle a little bit, overcome some adversity, run tired, jump tired, throw tired, and just beat our competition rather than worrying about the time of the clock.
I hope that we will win a lot of stuff, and then a few girls will probably go to nationals. PRs, that's what I want. I am a very competitive person, so I love winning, but if we get better and still lose, at least we'd have another chance to win, probably even more.
I'm big on team improvement, self-improvement, myself included in that. And I think if you focus on the overall growth from the bottom up, you'll see success in terms of wins and losses. Because if you're not self-motivated to beat that person, then competition doesn't matter. And I think if you're on a team that you can trust your teammates to push you and hold you accountable, then it's terms for success down the road.
If it was just me in my head, I'd probably give out earlier than if someone outside was also saying the same thing.
I'll tell them exactly what they need to do. I'll hype up the kids. I'll try to get some positive energy throughout the team in hopes that positive energy turns into motivation and fast times on the track.
Huh, that interviewee looked familiar for some reason. Well, that's all, folks.
And don't forget to tune in next time for the Chumpster Report. That's Lucy Franklin
and Brianna Cairns
signing off.